So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and showing you how to do finger loop braiding. If you're not familiar with finger loop braiding, it's a way of fairly quickly and easily making cords like this. You can make them round like this one, or flat like this one. You can do them in one solid color, or you can do two different colors and make this nice pretty chevron pattern. Both of them have. And there's a ton of other variations out there, but I'm going to start on two of the easier patterns, which is 5-strand chevron finger loop braiding. I'm going to do two colors because I like the pretty chevrons. You can do the same thing with just one color. So you're going to need 5 strands total of, in my case I'm using embroidery floss, so it works great and has lots of colors. If you're doing a 2-color one, you need 3 strands in one color and 2 strands in the other, and you need to make them fold them in half to form loops of equal length. And then you're going to take these loops and you're going to tie them together in a knot. And the loops need to be equal length when you're done tying the knot, because that helps the tension work correctly. If they're a little bit off, it's not usually a big deal, but if they're more than about 1/8 of an inch different, then it can cause problems. And then I'm going to take my knot and I'm going to anchor it. Normally when I'm working on this, I'll anchor it to my shoe or to some sturdy fixed object. In this case, I'm going to anchor it to a lamp and hope that it doesn't move too much. That's the only way to get it on camera. So we're going to start with with where you put everything. So quick first, in some patterns you'll see things referred to as L1 through 3 and R1 through 3 or 1 through 4. So this is L1, your left hand pointer finger, L2, L3, and then L4 if you were going to do an 8-strand. And then R1, R2, R3, and then this would be R4. So we're doing a 5-strand, so we're going to work with L1, 2, and 3, and then R1, 2, and 3. So to start, I'm going to pick up the color, we'll call it color A, the one I have 3 strands of, on L1. And then we're going to pick up color B, the one I have 2 strands of, on L2. Then I'm going to pick up color A on L3. And then I'm going to pick up color B on R2 and color A on R3. So when I start out, this is what it looks like, and I have R1 free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach R1 through R2, and I'm going to pick up L3 reversed. So if I wanted to pick it up normally, I would just take it straight from one finger to the next. But I want to pick it up reversed, which means I grab it from behind or underneath and flip it over as I pull it off. And then I draw it back through the loop on R2. And now my hands look like this. I've got strings on R1, 2, and 3, and then L1 and 2. So it's called walking the strings down. So I'm going to shift the string from L2 to L3, and then I'm going to shift the string from L1 to L2. And those are shifted normally, not reversed. So if I wanted to reverse it, I would pick it up from the inside and switch it, but that's not what we're doing. We're just walking them down straight. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, except with the other hand. So I'm going to take L1 through L2, and I'm going to pick up R3 reversed, like that. And then I'm going to split my hands apart to pull tension and kind of pack my stitches down on the end. And then so now my hands look like this. So I'm going to walk my right-handed strings down so that R1 is free again. And the reason that I do that little packing thing to get the tension moved down is, as you can see, this is the beginning part of this one. It's very loose. And this is closer to the end where it's very tight, but preferably you'll get a nice middle consistency to the extent possible. It's easier with shorter cords than longer cords. There are tricks to help you with longer cords. And I'll talk about those later. So then we're going to do the same thing, just the same thing over and over again. So R1 goes through R2 and picks up L3 reversed. And then we walk the strings down. And then L1 goes through L2 and picks up R3 reversed. And I sometimes find it helpful to like pinch what I'm working on in between my finger and thumb to help me out getting it through the loop correctly. And then we're going to walk down this hand. And then we're going to cinch it tight. And then we're going to keep doing that. Over and over again. I'm going to do several so that you can see the pattern it's forming. Right, to show you slowly again, just in case you need it. R1 goes through R2 and picks up L3 reversed. Not straight, reversed. And then you walk the strings down, and then L1 goes through L2 and picks up R3 reversed. And then you walk the strings down. And then you just do that over and over again. And I find the easiest way to pick something up reversed is to tilt my hand to grab it from underneath, but you can do whatever works for you. Okay. And then if I need to, I can free up one hand by keeping all the loops on the other hand. So this is what we've got so far. As you can see, it's still kind of loose. I could pay more attention and do a better job at getting it to pack down nice and flat. But you just keep doing it and you get a nice pretty chevron pattern. I'm going to set this one down so that I remember what's what, and I'm going to move it somewhere else for now. And I'm going to show you the other way of doing it, the other pattern. Make a nice round chord. So in this case, I'm using red as color A and this pretty green teal thing as color B. So I'm going to start the same way. Pick up the same colors, color A on L1 and 3 and R3, and then color B on L2 and R2, like this. So for this one, I'm going to do R1 through L2 and, or R2 and R3, and then I'm going to pick up L3 reversed, and then I'm going to walk my fingers down. And then I'm going to reach L1 through L2 and L3. And I'm going to pick up R3 reversed. And then I'm going to walk my fingers down. And I'm going to tighten it up. And I'm going to keep doing that. So R1 goes through R2 and R3. And again, thumb can be helpful for pinching the thread you need. And I'm going to pull that through reversed. Walk the fingers down, and then L1 goes through L2 and L3 and picks up R3 reversed. And then we cinch it down. And you keep doing this. Over and over again. downside to this kind of braiding is that it's not very easy to put it down and pick it back up again, because you have to keep track of what strand was on what finger. So it's easiest to do it all in one go. It does work pretty quickly though, especially once you get into a rhythm, and you can go a lot faster than I'm currently going. I'm trying to do it slowly to sort of demonstrate. So if you want to do longer chords, one of the tricks I've found is for chords up to about 3-ish feet in length, you can anchor it to something on the ground, preferably at home, and then using a clean foot, you can kind of, keeping your hands apart, you can put your foot down and yeah, you can use your foot to tamp this down. Alternatively, if you have a friend nearby, they can use their hands to tamp it down while you hold them apart. But that's a trick I discovered recently. Again, if you're going to use your own foot, make sure it's clean, like fresh out of a shower clean. But it works great. And you just continue doing this over and over and over again. Once you get comfortable, you can pick up some speed. Alright. So, this is what this one looks like so far. You'll notice it's still pretty loose at this end, but it's starting to pick up a much more consistent tension now. And then as a beginner, I would definitely expect to see lots of variation in tension. That's something that takes practice to really get good at. See, even at this one, it was a little loose in the beginning, but the rest of it's much more consistently tensioned. You can make these not quite as long as you want because of the difficulty in trying to get the tension consistent, but you can make them fairly long, or you can make them short. They make good bracelets. They also make good cords for things. So, and it's fun and it's easy, and I hope you give it a try. When you get to the end like this, and it becomes harder to actually fit your fingers in between to grab the new ones, tying off is actually very easy. I just take the strands from one hand, take the strands from the other hand, and tie a square knot. I'm sure there's a more elegant way to do it, but that works just fine for most uses. So there you go. It's just barely long enough to be a bracelet.